Namaskaram everyone. Few people who are constantly exposed to false propaganda from yellow media and who are not ready to look at the truth about Isha Foundation and Sadhguru are spreading false propaganda that Sadhguru is a blind supporter of BJP. It's time to bust their myth. Let's get into the video.
I think with the return, as we notice, return of Hindi much more. In the last 10 days, Hindi has returned much more. So we might hear Bharatvasi much more, Bharatiya much more.
You're leaving us out, we are from the south.
Then you learn a little bit of Hindi then.
No, we won't.
You won't?
No.
Why?
That is why I'm telling you, it is not the sameness which binds us. We are different people, but we are fine together. That is the nation, that is the nature of this country. That is what has to be encouraged.
Okay.
You don't try to teach everybody Hindi. You don't try to teach everybody Tamil. I speak Tamil, you speak this thing, you eat paratha but I eat idli, I think that's the best thing, you think that is the best thing, it doesn't matter. But we have no issues. In the same family you can work… 5 people are there, they're worshipping 5 different gods, but no problem, in the same room.
I don't see an imposition, I see more of promotion. That's what I feel.
That will happen anyway.
So these self-help groups, Anganwadis and others who are at the rural level and small town level who are working on the thing, who are not fully qualified medical personnel, who have more knowledge about these things, such people protecting them, above all giving them the necessary protective gear so that they feel confident to step out, that they don't feel like sacrificial lambs, that they're being sacrificed for somebody else's well-being. It is very, very important that we have to ensure that they have the necessary protective gear and their lives should not be sacrificed in the name of service. Service is fine, but there is no need to sacrifice lives for this purpose. So without protective gear, this could happen. So if the medical experts that many of you are, it's not necessary only this imported gear should come. I'm sure we can come up with various our own jugaads to ensure that it can be produced in large numbers and given to this level of workers so that their lives are not at risk. Providing this is very important because many of them, the ashas and others are largely women and they have their own families and children. So if they are coming out even to serve, that at a time like this they're reporting to their duty, itself is a fantastic thing. This must be honored with the necessary protective gear and a kind of an assurance that their lives are safe. The glasses that are needed, the masks that are needed and the protective cover for the body that is needed must be provided in large scale.
See, we have a 1 million strong military. I want you to understand, except maybe one nation, nobody ever even thinks it's worth bombing this country. Yes, I want you to get this straight. So right now, our quarrels with what was a part of this nation, now a neighborhood. What was one nation, now a part of our neighborhood, all right, we can't change that now. For this, how much are we investing? For one tiny quarrel, what is our investment? It's too much. Right now we are planning to buy the French Dassault fighters. It's… each one of them costs 600 crores. Boom, one crash in a second, it's gone, okay? I'm saying, we must have a military. We are still not in such a level of consciousness in the world, people can simply live without protection. We must have a strong military, we have. It needs to be upgraded in many ways, that will be done. I was discussing in one of these conferences and they were talking about this Dassault thing. I said, why don't you buy the Chinese airplanes? You can buy 10 for one. They said, no, Sadhguru, Chinese airplanes are not like this, Dassault is fantastic. Yes, I have also looked at it, I am also an aviator, I am a licensed pilot, I know what's an airplane, I know you can't compare a Dassault to a Chinese airplane, but the Chinese airplanes fly and they bomb. And that's all that matters. At 1/10 of the price, you are not going to pick a fight with United States of America and fight a war with them. If at all, if you have a quarrel, is it with your neighbor? Now this 600,000… 600 crores, I would like to suggest to the new government, instead of buying 100 airplanes, set up 100 power stations, diesel or coal-fired stations in Pakistan. Give them free power or charge them. Our companies will do it if you tell them. And they invest here. If they invest their money here, they're not going to bomb you. If you invest your money there, you're not going to bomb them. Small bickering will happen. We like little bit of a fight at the Wagah border, we can, do those things to each other. We like to do that. You've seen the Wagah thing. See, look at that, what Mahatma Gandhi said of all the people. It's amazing that he said that. That's the man, that is why you need to respect him. He is not just moral code, that is the mind of the man, okay? So he is talking about a strong military. Strong military definitely needed, but the best way, instead of being prepared to fight an enemy, to eliminate the enemy. When I say eliminate the enemy, you can eliminate the enemy only when you eliminate your enmity. If you buy the Chinese fighters, you have eliminated one major enemy, or your imagined enemy, okay? If China is not there, Pakistan, invest the money in Pakistan, another enemy gone. Who else is wanting to bomb you right now, I'm asking? Nobody. So you can focus on what you want to do. I know I'm making it little simplistic, but fundamentally that's all it is. Right now what I'm saying is little simplistic, there are complications to it, but those things can be sorted out. It is not like it'll happen in one day, in next 10-15 years you can run it down, your enmity.
I'm seeing on the television cameras, this poor Muslim woman, a young woman in her 20s with a child, some TV anchor shouts the microphone and asks, what is this? She's saying, we are all Bharatvasis, just because we are Muslims, why our citizenship is being taken away? But the anchor doesn't make any effort to correct her and say, this is not true, your citizenship will not go. He doesn't say that, he just enjoys the controversy. Why are you guys doing this? Is it true that young Muslim woman will lose her citizenship?
No, of course not.
Then why are we doing this?
But what do you make of the fear? There is a sense of palpable fear. We're seeing what's happening at Shaheen Bagh.
The failure, that is because of the kind of things that have been communicated. Government has definitely failed in its ability to communicate the idea, okay? What is simply for somebody else, nothing to do with you, you're protesting thinking it's against you, but somebody obviously communicated it this way, right? And you are also trying to say the same thing now. Don't say this. This is not about Hindu-Muslim, this is about the nation. This is not at all about the Hindu-Muslim because it is not concerned with the Hindus in the country or Muslims in the country. This is about people who are already in the country from another nation without any identity. You're just trying to give them one-time identity.
You spoke of how the government failed in its communication. Where do you think they erred? How should this matter have been handled?
Probably such a benign issue, they never thought this will be organized this way. It is definitely a lapse, no question about it. It is a failure.
Linking up, this is also an important issue. Linking up the Godavari and Kaveri for transferring the surplus water will therefore be immense benefit to the state. The effort will bring nearly 1100 plus water from the Godavari to the Kaveri. The water is wasted, so this is also a big project in hand. And you can talk to our Prime Minister as a Prime Minister has appreciated. It is necessary for all noble souls to put their shoulders to the wheel and ensure that this river linking project is executed as early as possible. This was started, this was vision of Atal Bihari Vajpayee also that time. Linking of the river, that is very much… And you have always used STEM exam time in America also. In America, I tell you, 5 lakes, once I was in America, 5 lakes, Superior, Michigan, Erie, Ontario, like that I have forgotten. In the year 1986, I was just reading an article. In America, there was a dispute. What was the dispute? Trees have come across on the banks of those the lakes, river. When they have come, so since they are pumping the water, so level has gone down. So we are suffering the losses because our big ships, they can't enter, shipping is stopped. Then the government gave the assurance that we will construct on that side the biggest dam and we store the water and keep the level like that. What has happened, I don't know. I read the article, I remember that article very
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
About linking of the rivers, a lot of talk has happened, but engineering solutions for ecological problems are no more possible. And especially in a tropical country, linking of the rivers could lead to total disaster, because what has been done in temperate climates where the temperatures are at a certain level, and here generally an average temperature is over 32 degrees, here if we link the rivers, in 25 to 30 years there'll be no rivers in South India, it'll be gone. And about Godavari water and Kaveri water going into the ocean is not a waste, because if river water does not enter the ocean, what is happening right now, Kaveri is not entering the ocean for 5 months. It's because of this, there is what is called as marine ingress, that the salt water is entering the land at various levels. In Tamil Nadu, it has entered the land for over 60 kilometers in certain areas, where there used to be sweet water, today there's only salt water. We have a 7,400 kilometers of coastline. On an average, if it enters 100 kilometers, considering the substrata, it could happen 100 to 130 kilometers. If this happens, India will lose 1/3 of its land to salt water, and the amount of migration and other problems that it will cause will be too much to handle. It's very important. Actually, 50% of river water must flow into the ocean. If that is not possible because of population pressures, a minimum of 25% must go into the ocean, otherwise marine water will enter the subcontinent and really put us into deep trouble.
About this Godavari linking, I tell you, I received a note from the government experts, and I raised this issue in our governors' conference also, and I brought it to the notice. Still nothing has happened, it is in process. If Sadhguru only will be convinced, then only we will go ahead, otherwise not. It is necessary for all noble souls put their shoulders to the wheel, ensure that this river linking project is executed as early possible. This was my saying before the intervention of the Honorable Sadhguru.
See, right now, it's seriously happening, like you said yesterday's election results and everywhere else, whether it's Bengal or UP or Tamil Nadu or wherever else. Gradually in India, there is no party which you can call as national party, all regional parties. As regional parties becoming more and more powerful and they sweep the state and national parties are completely routed, I'm not trying to pitch for them because there is nothing to defend them, okay? But whichever way, whatever they may be, for the long-term interest of the nation, it's very important two or three national parties must become strong. Otherwise, after 25 to 50 years, we will wonder, why are we one nation? Suddenly one chief minister will become prime minister. A chief minister who is chief minister for 10 years and frustrated with his chief ministership wants to become a prime minister. When he sees there is no other way to become a prime minister there, he will become a prime minister here. Yes. And already some serious attempts in this direction have been made in the past in certain states. If we value India as a nation, it's very important that we must strengthen the national parties. How to join these parties? Both are a mess. That is a real problem, what to do. But what we need to understand is, there is people, there are parties, and there is administration. In Indian mind, these three things are distinctly separate. This distinction should go. There is no people, party and administration. There is people, people and people. This is what a democracy means. People who are sitting here in this chair, tomorrow could be walking the street campaigning for a party, day after tomorrow they could be in that chair. This is what democracy means, that you are here today, tomorrow you could be there. So this distinction has to go. These are all easier said than done, to remove these distinctions, to make people understand, because how many people can you even talk to in this country? Because you know only 2 languages. Yes? Maybe I know 3 languages, but how many people will you speak? There are 16, 24 languages in the country. Who are you going to speak? Who are you going to leave out? So there are these issues. There are these issues, but it is very, very important. However corrupt, however nonsensical, however rubbish it is important to strengthen 2 or 3 national parties. Otherwise, there will be no India after 50 years. There will be many countries.
Sadhguru, I actually entirely agree with you, and Lok Satta and I have been always articulating the need to strengthen national parties. The tragedy is they are their worst enemies. So we do require to transform politics. That's why I was so repeatedly pleading that
I don't
unless
blame
we
you at
find an
all.
answer,
I wouldn't like to join any national party because we know what's happening and the way it's conducted.
So how do
but
we-
that is the reality of our nation.
but unless we transform them, that's the reason why I'm pushing this today, unless the pressure comes from the spiritual gurus, from the civil society, from media, that the need of the hour is not merely replacing one with the other, but actual transformation of the nature of politics and building a framework for the unity of India. I entirely agree with you. So
I'm privately,
there I
not
can-
publicly,
privately.
not announcing to people,
Whatever it-
giving them that privacy. Privately, we are slowly trying to transform many political leaders in the country. We have successfully worked with a few people, others are slowly coming in. But it's still a long process, it's not something that will happen overnight. And India, a country like India cannot be turned around overnight. If we work as a generation of people, maybe we'll leave a little better country for the next generation. That's where we need to look at.